So good morning, namaskar to all of you. We are starting the session. So welcome to Mr. Joseph Ratnam. Welcome to all the participants. So far in this webinar or series of webinar, we are talking about inclusive neighborhood children's parliament. So Joseph Ratnam sir already taught us what is inclusive, what is neighborhood, what is children, what is parliament. So that was our first talk. Then second talk by Father Edwin, the founder, we learned about the objectives of this inclusive neighborhood children's parliament. What are the objectives? Why should we have this children's parliament in our neighborhood and in our schools or anywhere? Then we saw that how to start this children's parliament in our neighborhood and in our schools. What are the different methodology? Even as an individual, how we can start it in our own neighborhood, and how we can start in our, if we are part of an NGO, how we can go to different villages, different communities and start. Then if you are in an education institution, like a teacher or a principal, how to start in an institution. So those things also we learned. Then we heard Swarnalakshmi Ravi, the former child Prime Minister of Tamil Nadu and India, about her own story, and also what are the roles and responsibility of the ministers, child ministers, and the number of ministers in this children's parliament. She explained about 7 ministers first. Then for each sustainable development of United Nations, we have a minister in the children's parliament. There are 17 sustainable development goals. For each sustainable development goal, we have a minister in our neighborhood children's parliament. So that also she explained. And in a special way, she explained about the role of the prime minister. And as a prime minister, what she has done, that also she has explained. So all these things so far we have seen it. And I have sent the notes for all these things to you also. If you miss any notes, you just send a message to me through WhatsApp. I will send those notes also. So today we are going to see about how to conduct one inclusive neighborhood children's parliament meeting. One meeting, how to conduct it. There are various levels. Joseph Ratnam sir will explain it in a different time, that in the neighborhood level, like village level, block level, state level, national level, world level, those things will come later. But today we will learn one inclusive neighborhood children's parliament meeting, how we have to go about, how to do that one. So that's what we are going to see now. And many of you have responded through WhatsApp also to me with various suggestions and all. As some of you or many of you are in the education institutions, working, teaching, I'd like to just put a little bit of perspective just the beginning of first 2-3 minutes. So for children, the children face certain challenges from us. When we ask them, they say, every time the teacher is telling study, study, study. Every time at home also they say study, study, study. And they dictate terms. They always want us to obey, 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 obey. And they never allow us to play. They never allow us to, fiddle with the cell phone. They always say don't watch TV. So these are the challenges the children they tell us. And now they are kidnapped, they are even abused, misused. So these are the challenges children are facing. And sometimes when we are asked, what are the challenges you face from children? Some of the teachers will say they don't study properly, they don't obey. If you ask them to do this, they will do that. They don't concentrate more, they are not matured enough. These are the things we more or less we say these allegations. Now, how to go about? there are so many ways and means. So one thing is like career guidance. One way out for these challenges is career guidance. That means for what job, what type of education. If you study this one, where you will land. So that is something called career guidance. Maybe in the later stage, we will be discussing about that also. Another thing is media education. So we have human rights education, we have value education, we have moral education, we have sex education. Now we are talking about media education. So we cannot say that children cannot play with the cell phone. They will play by all means. How to make them a responsible person to do with all this. So that is something called media education. We will also see that also. Then there is something called law of attraction. Children are attracted to do something, that one. So that also we will see it later. Today, why we are talking all these things is something called participation. That means a child has to participate. How to do that one? So Children's Parliament. Children's Parliament is not the one of the program. Children's Parliament is in which you can have all the program. So Children's Parliament is not simply like a software. More or less, it's like a hardware. It's a structure where you can have health, education, environment, all those things we can have it. So it's a structure where we can have all the topics, all the issues. So it's not merely one program. It is the base where you can have all the program. So in a school, there are so many things. One of that is Children's Parliament. I think we are not advocating it. We say have Children's Parliament and have everything in that Children's Parliament, because you got nearly 25 ministers, so 25 departments. So we can still have those things. So in this perspective, in this background, I think we will go for the today's session. So over to Joseph Ratnam sir.
Good morning to all of you. I'm so happy to see so many people in the session. And today we are going to see the procedure of the meeting of Children's Parliament. And before that, I want to say the background of the Children's Parliament meeting. Every Children's Parliament have to have their weekly meeting, a regular weekly meeting. Why we call it weekly meeting? Why not once in a month, or once in 2 months, or once in 3 weeks, or something like that? Many people ask this question. The reason is there are certain things where the children have to learn on a continuous basis. Only when they learn and practice certain things on a continuous basis, it becomes their part of their system. And if they do once in a way, then they may forget what is. There may be a break of link in between the first meeting and the next meeting. They may forget because they are so much engaged with so many things, and they may forget this. And they will take it as, okay, once in a way people call us, and they won't want this. Whereas if we have it a regular meeting, weekly meeting, every week if they have the meeting, it becomes part of their system. And it is said that any physical or mental or emotional practice to take place, there should be a continuous practice on that, a continuous practice. And when we say continuous practice, of course, every day we cannot have this meeting because children are engaged with so many other things and it is not possible. So at least once in a week. And it's a systematic weekly meeting. We call it a regular systematic weekly meeting. These are the 3 words which we use for the meeting procedure. So it has to be a regular one without any break. And some may say, okay, in the schools there are summer vacation and there are some holidays and all that. Whatever it is, you have to encourage the children to come once in a week to the school premises to conduct the meeting. And if it is difficult for you to have that during the holidays to have the meeting with him. You'll have to encourage them so that they can have their meeting in their neighborhood. So it should be a weekly meeting and regular meeting and a systematic meeting. Because when we say meeting, even the adults do not follow that system of running a meeting. That's very, very important. And I have a very good experience with the various NGOs and adult meetings, especially with the self-help groups, that and this and all. They will just come and they will do something, and some of the time there will be a conflict of ideas and a conflict of sharings, and they will fight with each other. Then they do something and go off. No, it has to be a systematic one so that children learn certain systems in their life. It makes them practice very, very systematic in everything, whatever they approach, whatever they do. It's not only conducting a meeting, even their daily routine. There should be system. They should be taught on that so that it becomes their system. And as one thing we propose that every child prepares a timetable. Timetable for the working days, that is for the school days, and timetable for the weekends, the holidays. So they have to prepare a timetable so that they become, their life becomes very systematic. From the time they get up to the time they go to bed. A time they themselves prepare. So that they start following certain system in their life. Not only they follow, they teach their parents also to follow certain system in their life. Not as we come and as we go, no. So this meeting also certain system. And the meeting starts with an opening song. When we say opening song, it could be any social song with a social theme, or it could be a motivational song, or it could be even a prayer song. But when we have a prayer song, it should not mention any particular religion. And people, those who are connected with religious activities, they have the tendency of, choosing their own religious songs and make the children sing. But here, this is for all the children. That's why you call it inclusive. Children belonging to every religion. So there should not be any particular religious names or name of particular God should not be mentioned. It should be a common name. So generally in North India, they sing the song, Itni Shakti Hame De Nadata. So it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful motivational song, which usually the children sing, something like that. I'm just giving an example. And in every language, we have similar common songs and bhajans. So we can start with that. So that the children, the purpose is the children will be coming for the meeting from various, emotional level. One may be studying and coming, one may be working and coming, one might have had a fight there or a small little conflict or something like that. So their mind level will be at the different levels. So to bring them all into one point, one concentrating point, this song is proposed. So it could be any social song or motivational song or common prayer song. Okay. Then once that is done, the speaker for that meeting is chosen. Every meeting should have a speaker, a person who facilitates the meeting. So that speaker can be even also named as a facilitator. Doesn't matter whatever name you give there. But the speaker is a common name in our parliamentary system, so we use it speaker. And how that speaker is chosen? The Prime Minister proposes somebody's name, somebody's name among them to be the speaker for that day meeting. And somebody else, or even some of them, second his proposal, Prime Minister's proposal. Once he is proposed and people have seconded, then that person takes over as a speaker. And for every meeting, there will be a different speaker. The reason is that everyone learns the art of facilitating the meeting, the art of leading the meeting. Everyone has to have, because here everyone is a minister and everyone is a leader. So one of the very important quality of a leader is to lead a meeting, to facilitate a meeting. So that's very important. So that opportunity is given to everyone. Perhaps in the beginning, all of them may not know, so we can have a special training for them, how to facilitate a meeting. And the Prime Minister can take the lead for a few meetings, 3 or 4 meetings, so that he teaches. And then expert from external resource also can be brought in to train them on facilitating. So once the speaker is chosen, then he takes charge of the meeting, and nobody can speak without his permission. Very, very important rule. Otherwise, everyone start talking, and the meeting will not go the way it has to be. So even if the Prime Minister wants to say something, he has to ask the speaker, honorable speaker, can I have something to say? Can I speak? I have something to say. If the speaker says, yes, you can go ahead, then that minister can speak. Otherwise, if the speaker says, please hold on, a chance will be given to you later, then he has to hold on. That's all. He cannot say, I'm the Prime Minister, I will speak and all that. So type of decorum is followed in the meeting. He calls somebody in the meeting. Once he takes charge, the speaker calls somebody in the meeting to give a welcome address. I mean, to start the meeting, he officially starts the meeting. The welcome address, whomever he names, it could be the Prime Minister or anyone else also can come forward to give the welcome speech. It's only 4 or 5 lines. That is, I welcome the speaker to this meeting to guide us and to lead us. And I welcome the Prime Minister and other ministers to this meeting. And I welcome the special guest or our guide, our mentor here, or a special person who has come here all the way to train us. I welcome all. That's all. These are the few lines. And this makes every child to learn to speak in front of everyone. It makes them come out of shyness. It makes them come out of fear talking in front of everyone. So this is it's a practice for them that they can speak in front of everyone. Once the welcome address is over, the speaker calls the parliamentary affairs minister, and sometimes in some places we call them home minister also. It means the same. Home minister means who takes care of the parliamentary related works, or we call them parliamentary affairs minister. So the Prime Minister, the speaker calls the parliamentary affairs minister to read the minutes of the previous meeting. So the previous meeting, whatever happened in the previous meeting, the resolution, discussions, action plans, all has to be recorded. And whenever there is a resolution passed, all the members, those who were part of it, every member has to sign that resolution. If there are 25 members, all the 25 have to sign. So that is a type of a proof that how many were present in that meeting. Because when in the initial stage, we used to have this taking attendance. But in taking attendance, what happens is some children may join the meeting little later. So their name will be not there. So when the resolution happens, that is more or less at the end of the meeting, when everyone signed the resolution, so already all of them would be there. So that also is treated as the proof of the attendees. Okay, so these minutes will be read by the parliamentary affairs minister. After it is read, the speaker will ask everyone whether we can pass the minute or if there is any change or suggestion on the minutes. And if there is any point, important points which have been left out in the minutes, it will be added. Or if there is something, the wording has to be changed according to the the nicety of the group, that has to be there and all. Then they pass the resolution. When everyone says, yeah, we pass the resolution, then the speaker takes the notebook of the minutes. He signs that first. Then the Prime Minister signs. Then the Parliamentary Affairs Minister signs. Which means this, if there are 3 signatures under these minutes, which means that minutes is passed by everyone. Once that is there, then the speaker calls the finance minister to read the finance report. When we say finance report, it is different from accounts. Accounts account note is a different one where every detail of the account will be there. Date wise, name wise, who has given what, how much, when, and all that will be there. And what are the expenses made, item wise, all the details will be there. But the finance report is a total picture of the financial status of the meeting, I mean of the group. It's like, it's a finance report notice different from the account note. In this, what will be there? Last week, the previous balance, so much. Total income this week, so much. And total expenses this week, so much. Now balance, as on today, in hand, so much, and in bank, so much. That's all. This will be the finance report. And once the finance report is read, the speaker will ask the group whether we can pass it or if there is any clarifications to be made by anyone. And suppose somebody wants to know what were the real expenses which is mentioned there. The total amount is mentioned, but we want to have the breakup. Then the finance minister has to give the breakup of income or the expenses. Once that is done, then everyone say, okay, we pass the finance report. Once the finance report is passed, the speaker signs that, then the Prime Minister signs there, then the finance minister signs there. So if any of the finance report is signed by these 3 people, that means the finance report is passed. Once that is over, then the real discussion of the meeting starts. The speaker will ask the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, if there is any special issue on which we'll have to discuss. And if the Prime Minister doesn't have a plan of a particular issue, then he will ask all the ministers. Each minister can put forward their own issues which has to be discussed. So the health minister will come out with certain issue, and the education minister will come with their own issue, and the sports minister that and this and all that. All the minister will share according to their ministry. For example, if the environment minister says, we will have to do our own local community actions, our parliament's action, to ensure, we can contribute towards development of the, or saving of the environment. So through this, I think we feel that we'll have to start planting trees. Okay. The education minister may say, in the toilet in the school where we study, there is no proper water, running water, and it is not clean. So we'll have to discuss about it. Or the health minister may something, or every minister may share something. Now, after every minister share the issues which they want to discuss, and definitely all the discussions cannot take place in one meeting. All the issues cannot be also discussed and found a solution in one meeting. So after everyone shares their concerns, then the speaker asks, okay, we understand that every minister has certain issue to be discussed, but today, for today's discussion, which issue can be taken? 1 or 2, based on the urgency of the issue and the importance of the issue. For example, the child welfare minister says, one of our members is forced on a child marriage. So we have to discuss it very immediately and very important, and decision has to be taken on that. If we leave it today, the marriage may take place before next week, next time we meet. So it's an urgent. So then immediately all other things, all other issues will be kept aside, and this issue will be taken on a priorities basis. So the issue based on the urgency and the importance, they will discuss. They will choose one or two, maximum two. More than two, they cannot have discussion and pass a resolution. So once they choose both the issues or one issue, everyone starts discussing about it, giving their opinions about it on that particular issue. For example, there is no proper running water facilities in the potable water facilities in the area, in the neighborhood. Then everyone keeps their idea, shares their idea. What shall we do to ensure that we will have uninterrupted water supply? Some may say we can have our own bore well, or some may say we can ask the corporation or ask the village administration to have a pipeline from the tank, or some may say if there is no any opportunities, a village about 3 kilometers have an overhead tank. So perhaps we can ask the local PDO or the Tahsildar to bring the connection from that tank to our village. Something like that, or whatever it is. Each one will share their opinions, and based on all those opinions, they will have a discussions and make a decision. Okay, now what we are going to do? There may be a number of suggestions, but now today what we are going to do as a first step. It may be say that, okay, we can write to the government officials to lay a pipeline from that tank to overhead tank to our village, or whatever it is. Now they decide on that. Once a decision is made, that decision will be converted as a resolution. Very, very important. Discussion is made. First the issue was identified, then a discussion was made, then a decision was taken on that. Then based on the decision, they pass a resolution. Resolution is the decision on the written format. Whatever they have decided has to be recorded in a resolution notebook. It is unanimously resolved to write a letter to our this particular officer, or requesting him to give us a piped water line. And all the members sign that. So resolution has to be always signed by all the members, those who were participating in the meeting. So that is a resolution. Once the resolution is made, all this will be recorded by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister in the meeting. Of course, it may sound a bit difficult for the children, but children, once they are trained on that, they do wonderful thing. I have number of experiences with hundreds of children parliaments all over the country. They maintain the minutes book so neat, so well. They write. In the beginning, the organizers or the teachers or the mentors support them to write and all that. Then it becomes the habit. They do it perfectly. And some of the minutes, if you see, you'll be really surprised if they can just maintain such a notebooks. And even the resolution notebooks, the way the wordings are put, fantastic. So once the resolution is passed and everyone has signed, they prepare an action plan. Taking a decision is not alone. Taking a decision is not alone, and passing a resolution is not alone. They have to prepare an action plan. What they are going to do? Okay, they have decided to send a letter to so-and-so, or they have decided to plant 5 trees this weekend, or they have decided to clean the street on their own, whatever it is. Now what they are going to do, when they are going to do, where they are going to do, all that. So that action plan has to be prepared. And to prepare an action plans, we have a formula. This formula, I've been using it for so many number of years, but about 3 years back, when I was having this meeting to the children parliament itself, I remember, I think it was in Indo, and we had collected various number of ministers from various parliaments, and we had a training, and I was training them on how to conduct a meeting. And when I was explaining this particular aspect, about the principle of action plans. That is 5 wives and 1 husband formula. It is known, generally it is known that, 5 wives and 1 husband. 5 wife means what we are going to do? 5 W's. What, who, when, where, and whom. And 1 husband is 1 H, that is how. So this is what we call it, 5 wives, 1 husband. And when I was sharing this, one of the ministers, and he was a prime minister actually, of one of the parliaments, he said, sir, this formula it's very good, but the name of the formula sounds a bit odd. When you say 5 wives, 1 husband, it doesn't sound okay for me. Then I said, okay, oh, very nice. I am so happy to hear that from you. What shall we do? He said, we'll have to change the name of the formula. I said, okay, we will have a discussion. And we had a discussion, how to change that. And the same person gave a beautiful idea. Sir, we will say 5 workers and 1 head. Does it sound all right? And I was so happy. I said, children can think much better than the adults. And it's one of the proof, which never struck me over so many years of my experience, that the name of the formula is there. That's how people generally use. But it never struck me that it may disturb certain children when I explained this. And he said, we will say 5 workers and 1 head formula. 5 workers, 5 W's, 1 head H. And everyone started clapping almost for 3-4 minutes continuously. And we approved that. And from that time onwards, the formula is named as 5 workers and 1 head formula. And we have to say what we are going to do? Planting trees. Okay. Where we are going to do? On the roadside. The road which leads to our village, or in the school campus, or in the temple complex, or wherever it is. They have to fix, give a specific name. And who is going to do? And when we say who, to plant trees, there are so many work to be done. There are so many things required. First, we need plants. Then we need a spade to dig a pit. Then you need water, and you need some manure, and all that. So who will bring the plants? If we say 5 trees we are going to plant, we need 5 plants. So who is responsible to bring plant? So they discuss. They'll say, okay, I will bring 1 plant. Another one will say, so they write the name. Suresh will bring 1 plant. So they fix who will bring the plants. Then who will bring the spade? They write the name of the volunteer who will bring the spade. Who will bring the bucket, water, so and so. Who will bring the manure and all that. So they fix it with a specific answer. Then when we are going to do? We are going to do on coming Saturday, 29th of this month, morning, 10 o'clock. They fix. So they fix the place, and they fix the responsibility of who is going to do, and the time, so that they won't miss. So they prepare all that. Then how we are going to do? So first they have to dig a pit, and perhaps if they need the guidance of adults who is expert in that, how big the size of the pit has to be there and all that. So they discuss all that and finalize. And that is what is action plan. So all this will be also recorded. Once the action plan is over, these all will be recorded by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Then they will be discussing about the action plan which they planned the previous meeting. That is evaluating the action plan, the previous action plan. Okay, now the fresh action plan is this. And all this discussion will be led by the speaker. And last week, we had made a particular action plan. And what was the action plan? So the Parliamentary Affairs Minister has to say, the previous action plan was this, to clean our neighborhood. Okay. And they had prepared an action plan. When they are going to clean, where and that and this, who will bring this, brooms, and who will bring that, and who will bring the dustbin, and all that would have been there. Now they will evaluate whether that action plan happened or not. If it has happened, how it has happened? What was the impact? What was the result? They will evaluate in the meeting. Okay, this is what we did, and this is, and it'll say, okay, whether it has been done according to the plan. Yes. Now, if it is not done according to the plan, it is only half done or it was not done, then they will say why it was not done. What was the reason? All of a sudden on that day, somebody died in our neighborhood, so we could not do it. So we can postpone that, or we can replan it once again. Or all of a sudden there was some emergency in the neighborhood, so that we could not do this work. We could not carry out the action plan what we had prepared. Or there was all of a sudden a temple festival organized, or some event organized in the village or in the neighborhood, so we could not do. So there should be a reason for it. And if it was not properly done, what was the reason? The reason, we started gathering all together, but at that time, so-and-so was not present, and so this was not done properly. So we needed to do it once again. We need it to be done once again, or whatever it is. So the evaluation has to be done of the previous this thing, and a corrective step has to be also planned in that. Once the evaluation is over, the speaker will ask the Parliamentary Affairs Minister to run through the gist of the meeting. The issues what was discussed, then the decision taken, and the resolution passed, and the action plan done. So he has to read it once again for reconfirming that whether everyone agrees to all that finally. And he reads it, then everyone says, yes, we agree to the decisions and the plans and whatever we have prepared today, we agree for all that. Okay. Once that is over, they will be discussing about next meeting. It's a regular weekly meeting, but again, they have to mention whether it need not be only on a particular date. For example, coming their regular weekly meeting is on Saturday, but coming Saturday, there is a festival, or there is a holiday, or whatever it is. Then when we are going to have the meeting? A day before that, the time, the place, everything. They discuss, and the speaker announces that the next meeting will be held on so-and-so date, at so-and-so time, and so-and-so place. That's all. Once that is there, then he calls somebody to give vote of thanks. Vote of thanks is very important, again, like a welcome speech, only with a few lines. And he can call anyone to give vote of thanks. And whoever is called, and he says, okay, today I want to thank the speaker for facilitating the meeting beautifully. And I want to thank the Prime Minister and other minister for their contributions. And I want to thank everyone for a beautiful decision which we have made, and the resolution passed, and we have prepared an action plans. And I want to thank our guide, our teacher and mentor who has come here. And I want to thank also in advance the expert who has come here to train us and all that. The vote of thanks is over. Then we have an optional thing to sing an anthem. When we say anthem, it need not be necessarily a national anthem. If they decide to sing national anthem, they can sing. But there are anthems specifically meant for various occasions. For example, for Children Parliament itself, we have made in Tamil an anthem. We call it Mulakkapadal. And I remember I wrote it about almost 14 years back. and we had set a tune, and we had a recorded format there. So they used to sing. And in other places, they used to sing Tamil Thai Valtu as the final this thing. Or whatever it is, or even national anthem can be sung. So this is the procedure of the normal systematic meeting. And every meeting has two parts. This is the first part of the meeting. This may take about 1 hour or little few minutes up and down. It's a regular meeting, a systematic meeting, the first part of the meeting. Then we have the second part of the meeting. After serious discussion is over, this all is so that now their serious, the flow of their thinking, their discussion, their action plan should not be disturbed by any other means, any other program. So it is a serious, regular meeting. Once that is over, then they have the second part of the meeting. That is to come together, to share general knowledge, share jokes or informations, so many things which can be done. Or celebrating the days, celebrating the birthdays of the members, or Parents' Day, Teachers' Day, or any anniversary, or the international days and national days, which comes in that particular week. Those days can be celebrated. Celebration is one of the important part of this second part of the meeting, because the more the children celebrate together, the more closer they become to each other. So celebration of something or other, definitely there is some day or other to be celebrated. It could be a Children's Day, it could be a Disability Day, it could be an Environment Day, it could be a Child Right Day, it could be a Workers' Day, or it could be, so many days are there. So that day can be celebrated with a special input on that, or even certain training can be even conducted on that and all that. And for training, you can invite any expert who is an expert in that particular subject on which the training is going to be conducted. Say if it is about child right, you can invite, there are organizations, those who are experts in child rights. From there, you can call somebody in your own area. And you can, if it is about law and order, you can call a local police officer or a policeman, or from the local police station, saying, please come and train us about law and order. And if it is about civic rights and responsibility, you can call a lawyer to come and train us. And if it is about environment, you can call, there are NGOs working on specifically on environment, they can come. And if it is about education, you can invite an expert who has very good, learning methods, who can train the children on learning methods and all that. So health, you can invite a doctor to talk to them about health issues and all that. So you can call any expert on each day after this first meeting, in the second meeting, to give certain input for half an hour, so that they enjoy. After this input is given, they can go for their games, sports, or other activities, drawing competition, singing, dancing, whatever they want. So this all is part of the second level meeting, second part of the meeting. And these two parts has to be for every week. So this is the procedure of the meeting. Now we have reached 11:20. And so if there is any questions on this, please kindly put forward. I'm happy to answer you.